Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hello.
We've
How's it
got a,
going?
I don't know when you're watching this. You're either watching this on Saturday, Sunday, or someday far after the episode is aired, but it's Fromily Friday for us because we're recording on a Friday. I'm Kelly Tabitha's Bones Collector Keen.
I'm Jazzy Ethan Allen Poe Dotson hyphen Schmanik because I could fit it this week.
Wow. I like that we both have Ethan references in our
Mm-hmm.
names. He's Ethan's kind of becoming a little bit of a creepster.
Yeah, he was so intense this
Yeah.
episode.
It was funny though at the same time. It was kind of
It's like,
fucking
where's my
hilarious.
mom's bones? Like, it was a lot.
Oh my god. Um, I don't know. I if welcome back. If you're new to us, welcome. We are the From Series podcast on we're on the YouTube Cyborg Queen Media channel where we host a bunch of other podcasts as well. We are currently covering Book of Carol in addition to From, and we are going to be covering Teacup extremely soon. Like we got to record next
Yeah,
week
we
for that.
do. I was just thinking about that.
Yes.
I was wondering if they're
Um,
going to get us more episodes.
yeah, I hope so. I got to check in with them because hysteria, we that they forgot to set us up with hysteria, and that's like coming up too. We've got we've got so much. It's kind of insane. Um,
Very excited.
yeah, me too. This fall is going to be a little bit crazy. But yeah, we have a YouTube channel, Cyber Queen Media, and if you're watching us, if you don't usually listen to us, if you want something to listen to in your car on the way to and from work, we also put the audio up on all of the podcast apps for our episodes, so you can listen to. That's actually how I usually consume my podcasts, as
It's
I listen
almost
to
always
them.
how I do.
Yeah, because it's like I do it when I listen when I'm exercising or when I'm in the pool, which I mean that's kind of over for the year, um, but yeah, I'm
It's
pool time and
105 here
podcasts.
today, so
What's that?
so it's 105 here today, so
Oh wow.
got plenty of time for the pool.
We actually did have a couple of pool worthy days this week, which is kind of surprising for October in the
I
Midwest.
know.
But I couldn't get in the pool because it's taken down already for the year.
Oh,
So kind of a bummer, but oh well. Um, so I am Jazzy, I want to get your opinion on this.
mhm.
Is what's your favorite from season so far?
It might be this one.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen the majority of it, and it is really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man,
Same.
that's it's a hard question because like it's all great, and I really don't have an episode that I don't like. Like, I feel it's since there's so little time that passes between, like, pretty much each season like it's the next day. It still continues the events from immediately afterwards. There's no time in between seasons, so it's very much like one continuous story.
Yeah.
Where a lot of other shows put some gaps and time jumps between seasons, like they haven't done that at all. Uh,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I
it really,
agree.
I'm gonna have to wait until I've seen the whole piece, like the last thing that we haven't seen. But I think it's this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely season 3 for me. I'm blown away by this season.
It's a
I'm
damn good season of television.
It is. And it's funny, I'm going back right now and watching season 1 just to kind of compare like where we're at now with what we were watching back then. And some things I've noticed, Scott Scott McCord has really kind of changed the way he's played Victor a little bit.
Yeah.
One. And I think it's for the better.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I think he was always fantastic,
Hmm.
but I think he seemed almost like a little more, I don't know, he seemed a little more, he seemed a little less closed off in season 1, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it just makes sense for his character to be closed off. And,
I mean, he's so traumatized.
yeah.
He's gone through so much. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like I was watching that his like one of his first scenes with Ethan, he was just so comfortable with him and he was just and I'm watching it back, I'm like, you know, the way Scott McCord is playing this Victor now, I don't think this scene would go this way. I don't think he would be so like so sweet with Ethan right away. I think he would be a little more standoffish, you know?
I mean,
Um,
I think every actor on the show is fantastic. I don't have an issue with anyone's performance, but everyone's at home in their characters now. They know these
yeah.
characters. They're, you know, really in it. Like every scene is. I'm just like, I have so much physical reaction to watching these, like sitting on the, like freaking out. Like it's just, it's so good.
Yeah, same. And I can't wait. I kept thinking episode 3 was my favorite, but it's not. I was confusing it with episode 4. Episode 4 is my favorite, so I
Yeah.
can't wait to talk about that next week. Um, and I just like Sarah is a character I never really cared about before. Um, like I was kind of just meh on her. I could have, I could
She
take her or
makes it
lose her.
hard. It's hard to like
But
Sarah in the first two
yeah.
seasons.
But since they've put her with Scott McCord, I just love her so much now. Like, the 2 of them have so much chemistry, it's crazy.
Do you
I
see
just
the Facebook post where someone had the picture of Victor with the gun pulled out and they called him Vicky with the blicky?
That's so awesome. I love it.
Easily my favorite thing I've ever seen.
Oh
So
my
funny.
god. That's so great. I love it. Um, also, I want to and I told Jazzy I wanna do an interview, an episode, just a short episode on this soon, but there's a lot of stuff in episode 3, the episode that we're covering in this episode, that really, like, kind of validated my theory that I've had for a while now that reincarnation is heavily involved in this show. Um, I really believe that some of these characters are reincarnated versions of past characters that we've heard about and seen. I think Tabitha is Miranda. I think Jade is Christopher. And I'm not as positive on this one, but I strongly feel that Ethan could be Eloise.
That makes
Um,
we don't know. We still don't know what happened to Eloise. We still don't have any information on her that would make it could work.
yeah. And there's still like Ethan Ethan could see Victor's room
Mm-hmm.
before they got into the town, which is very odd, you know? I
Yeah.
mean, he dreamed about Victor's room.
Mm-hmm.
So it's yeah, I he's gotta be Eloise. I mean, I'm not as certain about that as I am with the other
Mm-hmm.
2, but it's gotta be. Um,
Do you think
but anyway,
everyone in the town is a reincarnated past member of the town, or do you just think it's special people?
you know, I think I don't think it's everybody,
Mm-hmm.
but I think something's happening where like I almost feel like the town is experimenting, and if somebody comes into Fromville that's not supposed to be there, if the town either kills them off right away, um, like we see this season,
Mm-hmm.
or it and like we saw with Toby,
Mm-hmm.
or the town decides to keep them around to see what happens.
I mean,
You know what I
half the
mean?
bus got on the first couple hours in Fromville, so that totally makes sense to me.
Yeah, yeah. And I really think that I mean, I think that anybody who has who has too strong a connection to this place is never going to die. I think they have completely solid plot armor. I don't
Mhm.
think we're going to see Elgin going anywhere. We're not going to see Sarah, or I mean, actually, we could see Sarah go because she doesn't necessarily have visions that she's trying to figure out or anything. She just has
Mhm. Just
like,
talk to her.
yeah, yeah. So
I could see Sarah. I feel like it's more likely that Sarah's gonna have to live with all the things that she did. Like
yeah,
that makes more sense to me, like storytelling wise. But I
yeah,
feel
for
like
sure.
I could see her sacrificing herself,
Yeah,
to like get everybody home or save somebody else or something like that. She's so desperate for redemption. I could see that happening too.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I also feel like the people that were killed by monsters, like Khatri, um, and anybody who was killed by the monsters,
Mhm.
I don't think they're really dead. I think they're alive in, like, I think either they're alive in the real world or something. And basically that goes back to episode 1 when they were in the RV and Julie or Tabitha was telling Ethan after Julie killed Norman.
Mhm.
And Tabitha told him that that's a good thing that the monsters killed Norman because monsters aren't real, so they can't. That means that Norman's not dead. Um, and then Julie brought him back. So that's something that I'm still kind of, you know,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
still kind of sticking
I
to.
like it. I like
But
it.
one thing that has not been acknowledged on this show that is driving me crazy is why is there no Atlanta?
Yeah, that's
Seriously.
very weird.
Why has nobody looked at the map and commented
No,
that there's no Atlanta on the map? Like,
it's odd.
what the hell? It doesn't make sense. I don't know. Maybe because there's too many comparisons to The Walking Dead, and so they're just gonna pretend that The Walking Dead doesn't exist.
That makes sense. I could see that being a reason.
um, well, let's dive in. This episode is called
Yeah.
Mousetrap, which, like, every time I think about this episode title, I don't know if anybody out there is familiar with the band Ride, but I love them. And they have a song called Mousetrap. It's one of my favorite songs of theirs. And
Oh,
I get it stuck in my head every time.
I am not familiar.
They're a really good like kind of Brit poppy band from the 90s. They're a lot of fun. If you're into that kind of music, they're a great band.
I'm into all kinds of music.
Yeah. But yeah, why don't you go ahead and read the synopsis?
Kenny leads a group into the forest in search of food. Donna and Ellis try to talk Boyd out of a dangerous plan. Tabitha makes a mind bending discovery. Fatima questions the welfare of her unborn baby. This could be any episode.
Yes, pretty much. So we open up with Jim on the phone, and he tells Thomas, "You're not my son." And we hear this kid who, okay, first of all, if Thomas were alive, he would not be able to talk.
No.
He would be like, he'd,
Two? Not even?
not even
One?
two. He'd be like less than 2 years old. Um, and but he's saying, "Why did you let mommy go? Why did you want her to die? Is it because you didn't love her anymore?" Like, that's brutal. Thomas
It's a
is a little
dick.
asshole.
These monsters are petty AF.
I know.
so,
Seriously, man.
so, so bad.
And he also says you shouldn't let Julie and Ethan play outside so close to dark. And of course, somehow or another, this Thomas that's not Thomas has more common sense than Jim.
Hey, Jim, do some parenting.
Yes.
No, never.
Oh my god. So Jim drops the phone and goes out to find his kids. He's just like frantically calling out for them. He runs into Boyd. Julie and Ethan don't really want to leave the animals, but he kind of rushes them inside and just looks at Boyd and is like, things are getting worse around here, aren't they? It's like, yeah. He walks
Keen
off all
observation,
sulky.
Jim.
Yeah, I know. Just, oh, God, he just annoys me. And bravo for that being the entire cold open.
Yeah.
And not having half of the episode in the cold open.
Man, I just saw the best cold open of my life last night. It was Rings of Power season finale. Incredible. Yeah. Sorry to get off topic, awesome. But it blew my mind. I was like, that was the cold open. Yeah, it was incredible.
By the way, my favorite cold open is probably still from The Walking Dead. It was season 6 when Carol was at home and she was making cookies and she's looking out her window and just watching Mrs. Nudemeyer standing on her lawn smoking. And then all of a sudden, like the crazy wolf guy just comes and starts hacking her up with a machete. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
I remember that pretty vividly.
Yeah. So anyway, we come back from the cold open and Henry is woken up when Tabitha breaks a glass in the kitchen. And he notices that she hasn't slept all night. And she basically was just down in the basement.
Can we pause for 1 second? I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah. No. So yeah, Henry notices that Tabitha hasn't slept all night because she was down in the basement studying all the creepy paintings. And he goes in there and helps her bandage up a cut on her hand and starts asking her about the boy in white in the tower. That's when Tabitha hears some bottles clinking together and she asks Henry, she's like, do you hear that? And he says, of course, it's the bottle tree.
Your bottle tree.
Yeah. And then we cut to Victor, who is at the edge of the woods behind Colony House with a shovel and a map of the trees. And he starts digging for something, maybe Tabitha's bones.
They gotta be somewhere.
That's actually, I have Tabitha's bones. That's what Banana's chewing on back there. She's chewing on Tabby's bones. She's really enjoying them quite a bit.
Going to town.
Yeah. We then cut to Ellis and Boyd in the sheriff's station, and oh my God, Boyd has gym brain. So Boyd is wanting to find out more about the creatures, and he says that he wants to go out with the talisman and see if maybe he can use the talisman to, I don't know, if to keep them in the cave or to like draw them all into a house and lock them up in the house and keep them in. I'm not sure, but he wants to see if it works to keep them to keep them from coming out of things. Mm-hmm. And Donna comes in,
right? Because they got out of the barn and they hung a talisman in the barn.
Yeah. So I don't think that would. Yeah, I think that's a.
And they got out of Colony House. And Colony House, like she came in, he opened the window. She came in, he closed the window. I guess they opened the other windows, so maybe that doesn't count. But yeah.
Yeah. But you know what they could do? I wonder, like, I think what might work is if they built some kind of structure at the entrance of the cave and put a talisman in it and made it so the creatures have to go into this, have nowhere to go but into this structure. when they come out, and they can't go in because there's a talisman in there. You know what I mean?
That's a good idea.
So I think Boyd's kind of onto something, but just going off in a really weird direction. Like, come on, Boyd, you're smarter than this. But Donna comes in, and I loved her explaining them drawing straws. She's like, we all drew straws. Dale threw a shit fit. Because of course he did. And they're all on their way to that settlement. She notices that there's some tension with Boyd and Ellis and asks what's going on.
Well,
And
she always immediately knows what's happening. She's like, something's up. What's
I know.
happening?
I know. I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
She asks what's going on, and Boyd tells her he wants to catch one of the monsters. And Donna basically looks at him like he has nipples growing out of his forehead. Like he so he has such gym brain. It's even worse than gym brain, I think.
It's not a good plan.
He says he wants to catch one of them and make them talk. And she's like, what are you going to do? Torture them? We've shot at them with shotguns, and they just smile. Like,
how are you going to get information out of it? Like,
yeah.
It doesn't seem very solid to me.
No.
Maybe and the way they set it up last episode, I'm really surprised how fast they abandoned this plot line, because they dropped it at the end, like, we're going to catch one of those things, and then that was basically we had one more scene where that was basically the end of the episode, and so you feel like, oh wow, they're going to do it, but then they have this one conversation with Donna, and she's like, are you fucking dumb? And then they never come back to it for the rest of the show.
Donna had to talk some common sense into them.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, into Boyd, because Ellis was a ridiculous plan. But she says she, like, just like everybody else, she wants to get her pound of flesh for Tianjin, just as much as everybody. But he shouldn't be going out and getting himself killed, which would be ridiculous, because I mean, I understand that Boyd feels a lot of pressure to take care of the people there, but if he dies, like, they're fucked.
Yeah. They're going back to holes in the ground for sure.
Yeah. I mean, like, you have to protect your leader. You can't, especially someone like Boyd, who's just so invaluable, like, you can't just let them be running off all willy-nilly. I mean, it's just as important to protect him and keep him alive as it is to, like, worry about everybody else in the town. I mean, like it or not, he's more important than everybody.
I think he and Kristy are the most important people they have right now. Like,
yeah. Boyd and Kristy need to be protected. They can't afford to lose them. But Boyd just gets frustrated, and Donna walks out. Ellis tries to talk to him, and Boyd just shuts down and walks out, because he has gym brain. Back at Colony House, Clara is cooking up the portion of the cow that they received, and asks Fatima if she wants some, and she of course declines. And she starts pouring herself some coffee or tea, whatever it is, and then just immediately looks like she's gonna vomit and puts her cup down, which is that's scary. Like, I understand food, but when like coffee or tea is making her want to throw up, that's bad.
Yeah.
That tells you something really wrong is going on. I mean, that's like vampire shit, But she goes outside and she approaches the giant pile of rotten produce and starts scarfing down black potatoes again.
Hoovering
and
them.
and of course Tilly, always being at the scene of the crime, is hanging up clothes and catches her, and Fatima sees her and runs off. And we catch up with the group that's going out to the settlement, and which we actually got a couple of red shirts with names, which was interesting.
Yeah.
It's we've got Kenny, Kristy, Dale, Jade, and a couple of red shirts. One of whom's name is Roger. I didn't catch the other name.
I didn't catch the girl's name.
Yeah.
Roger was in the stealing food from Tien Chen's house scene. I remember him from that.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Front and center in that scene.
Wow, good memory. Yeah, so they're going out to the settlement and they come across those creepy scarecrow things.
Ugh.
And Jade suggests basically what I think the entire audience was thinking, including us, that whoever was living out there was probably using them like the talismans, almost like scarecrows in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenny shows everyone
scare creeps.
What is it?
I said I called them scare creeps in my notes.
Scare creeps. Yeah, I like that. So Kenny shows everyone where the cabin is and where he and Jim stored a bunch of the produce that they found. One team is going over there to pack up what's in there, and then another team will forage for more. Back at the Liu house, they're eating dinner, and Jim is spooning out some stuff.
Slop.
Whatever it is for Ethan, and explains that, you know, he did the best he could with what they have, but Kenny and the others will be coming back soon with food. Julie comes in and he asks her if she wants some food, and she declines, which is a little concerning considering that everybody's starving right now.
Julie has never once accepted food. I kept track this time I watched, so she never takes food.
So weird.
She's not that it's like, you know, she's consumed one sip of water this whole series.
Yeah.
People are constantly offering her food. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it is really, really strange. I mean, everybody's starving. You would think she would be like, yeah, I need to eat. But yeah, it's really, I wonder what's up with that. So Ethan then just gets really, really creepy and weird and dark. And
nickname for the week. Damn it, I can't do this.
What's that?
I was trying to put my nickname in quotes, but I can never find where I'm supposed to be on the camera to get to the point.
Yeah, he goes all Ethan Allen Poe. We're gonna find him in like season 6 in a gutter with a bottle of booze. R.I.P. R.I.P. Edgar. But Ethan asks who's gonna bury Mom, and Jim kind of snaps at him, and Ethan just keeps going. He's like, we shouldn't just leave her out there to rot. And what if people find her one day and they don't know who she is because all she is bones? And I'm like, you know what? My dogs will be very happy. No, Jim just completely loses his shit completely and snaps and just like throws the pots and pans.
Mm-hmm. Worst possible reaction.
What's that?
I said worst possible reaction you could have had to that whole situation.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Ethan quickly runs out of the kitchen and he tries to apologize, but Julie runs after him and makes a comment about how he's really going for parent of the year. But I felt bad for him though, because I mean, like, I think a lot of people would have that reaction, even if it was their kid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
a lot. He was being really weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
I mean, he
it's really hard to
immediately
do.
apologized,
Mhm.
but, like, I just yeah,
He's
that
been so
was
little though, and he's seen, like, he's obviously starting to get desensitized to death because he's seen a massive amount of death in such a short time. Like,
yeah.
it's something that he, like, as a parent, Jim needs to be like, this is an issue. This isn't just him being like a precocious little scamp.
Mhm.
He's not connecting to death in a healthy way right now. Like,
Right.
yeah, it's not like he got to have a goldfish. His little brother died. Like, it's not
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um, so the phone rings again, but this time Jim just picks it up and slams it back down. Um, at the Kavanaugh house, Henry is showing Tabitha the bottle tree in the back, and he explains to her that Miranda was an artist and had created these bottle trees around town. And Tabitha says that explains that the one in Fromville is bigger and it's got an opening that you can go through, and it's almost Henry comments like, oh, you mean like teleportation? Um, And Henry mentions that that this was a replica, and the original bottle tree is in a park a few towns over. And that tree is where everything started. That's the tree that they dropped acid by. Um, so that's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's a fascinating little fact.
Mhm.
We then see Boyd in the church talking to dead Dick Cotry, who turns into dead Supreme Dick Cotry in this scene. Like, my God, dude.
Mhm. Rough.
I mean, he's basically just busting his balls like crazy, telling him
Mhm.
his plan sucks, which it does. His plan completely sucks. Um, and he makes a snide comment about how he can see why the military trusted him to run their operation. And he does make a really good observation, which is he says that he reminds him that the monsters said that they wanted to break him and change him, and they're clearly succeeding because the Boyd that he knew wouldn't do something so colossally stupid, which is true. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't think Boyd would have had such a ridiculous idea, maybe like last season or the season before. Um, Katri then says that he and Tian Chen both died trying to help people, and that he shouldn't diminish that sacrifice by making it all about him, which is true, but really really a dick thing to say.
Yeah.
And I don't think that he's trying to make it all about him. I mean, Boyd is like one of the most selfless characters
Mhm.
that I could think of. And I don't think it's trying to center. I mean, he's centering himself in a way that he thinks it's
I
his
mean, he feels
responsibility.
guilty,
Yeah,
yeah. And I
exactly.
don't think there's any way for him not to feel guilty, especially for Tien Chen. Like,
Yeah.
Patry was more of a, I mean, they both made their choices. They both chose to be outside. He tried to send Tinch. He tried to send Tinchin away, and she wouldn't go. You
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. I don't know how he could be reacting to it in a way, like any way he would have less guilt.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, I mean, he doesn't deserve it, but it is what it is.
Hmm.
And boy, yeah, and then Boy tells Katri that he got him killed, which is just ridiculous. Like, I mean, this guy just takes on responsibility of everything bad that
Yeah.
happens. I mean, he needs a girlfriend, god damn it.
Can I tell
Somebody.
you the craziest theory I heard yesterday?
Yes.
Someone, they have this whole theory on Facebook about how Sarah's one of the monsters and she's been a monster the whole time, which
Oh my god.
doesn't make any sense to me. But they are like certain that the monster that killed Katri was Sarah, and they have like a video clip, and like it's Sarah's voice for sure, like 100%. It's just, I was like, I don't think that theory fits very well, but it cracked me up. They had so much like screenshots and things pulled up trying to prove it. That's a stretch.
Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, that's definitely a stretch. But yeah, I just don't understand how, like, okay, I could see how Boyd would connect the dots to feeling responsible for Tian Chen's death.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see that with Katri. Like, how is he responsible? I mean, it's like that scene, I think it was in season 2, where he was in the chapel talking to God, and he's like, I'm just a stupid motherfucker who keeps getting people killed. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
He needs a girlfriend. And you know what? I will tell you, I tweeted that, and Harold Perrineau liked the tweet. So he's co-signing.
Yes. Burn it down.
Give Harold Perrineau a girlfriend who will just like completely dote on him and worship him and take care of him. I said Harold Perrineau. No, I said Harold Perrineau again. No, don't give Harold Perrineau a girlfriend. He's married. Boyd needs a girlfriend. Sorry, Mrs. Perrineau. But Katri then mocks his memory board, which is so mean. Like,
I thought that was a really nice thing for him to do, because like in the last episode he was saying how like they've lost so many people he's starting to forget. Like,
yeah,
it's a good thing. It's a good thing to do. I think it would benefit everyone.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so Katri mocks his memory board, and then he just finally tells him to leave him the fuck alone. So we don't see Katri anymore in there. We then see Sarah at home trying to fix the ornament when Victor shows up on her porch with a suitcase, and their exchange is just hilarious. It cracked me up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just standing on the porch with his Victor face, and she's like, hi, and he's like, hello. Do you need something? Yes. Do you want to come in?
I guess.
It was so funny.
Mm.
I love Victor so much.
Like, you came over here.
I love him.
He's the best.
He then comes in and asks if she has a bedspread, and she says she has a few upstairs, and he tells her that they need to build a fort, and he's going to tell the story, which we don't see until episode 4. That's part of one of the reasons why episode 4 is my favorite so far.
But they do literally build the fort, and it's delightful.
It is. It's fantastic. At Colony House, Fatima is getting ready to lie down. Tilly comes to the door and asks if she could come in, and Fatima tries to get rid of her, and Tilly is telling her through the door that she used to eat eggshells. Then Fatima lets her in, and Tilly tries to offer her some comforting words and tells her, whatever's going on will pass. And Fatima is just crying hysterically at this point, because she can't talk to anyone because they'll think she's crazy, and she can't tell Ellis how scared she is because he's so happy and he's trying to be encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
And she mentions again that she was never supposed to be able to conceive, and yet somehow she was able to do so there. And Tilly's being, what's that?
Sorry, I want to throw something in here really quickly, because I've seen a lot of people saying insane things on the internet. Infertility is incredibly common. Like, people are like, was Fatima born a man? Did she have some horrible accident? Did she get run over by a horse and pierce her hymen? Like, just insane bullshit. Infertility is so much more common than you think. Like, so many women struggle with infertility. It is ignorant to think that she suffered from some kind of like massive trauma, or she was born a man.
Yeah.
Because that's not how fucking, like, if that was the issue, if she were a biological male who was pregnant in Fromville, I think she would have disclosed that by now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just rude and silly because everyone probably knows someone who's struggling with infertility and people just don't talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, certain
Just a side
medications
note.
certain medications can prevent you from getting pregnant,
Absolutely.
you know? Like, yeah, it can, there are genetic conditions
Mm-hmm.
that
it's like the fertility industry is $1 billion industry.
yes.
There's so many people who try to get pregnant and never can. Like, it doesn't have to be some big trauma. It doesn't have to be anything else. It's something that happens to more people than you would possibly think.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I just read the other day, and I don't know if this is true or not because I didn't fact check it. But I just read the other day that that more men are infertile than women,
Mm-hmm.
which I found really interesting. Because it's always looked at as such
it's as a woman's
issue.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, there are apparently more men than are infertile. But yeah, so anyway, Tilly's just being very sweet and comforting, and that was nice of her to try to make her feel better about her weird ass situation, and by telling her about licking herself.
Fatima's dealing with is pica, which is what I think Tilly was insinuating, but it was really nice of her to try to get on her level.
Yeah, I know.
I was like,
yeah,
eggshells are different than rotten potatoes, but you know.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to take over from here?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Alrighty.
Henry and Tabitha get into Henry's car and get ready to head to the bottle tree. Henry starts the car and the radio starts playing Blue by Joni Mitchell. Tabitha is surprised, and Henry says the tape's been stuck in the car for years and that was Miranda's favorite song. Tabitha says that that's her and Jim's song too. Henry's just like, meh, small world, and they drive off.
Okay, that's very not being able to get the tape out of the car, and so it just plays.
Years.
Yeah, and so it just like turns on whenever he starts the car.
Right? He's got a front car.
That's very similar to the jukebox situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that really interesting.
The car, a tape stuck on the tape deck that only plays your wife's favorite song. You think he'd like trade that car in or something?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Back at the creepy settlement, Jade is not being super helpful while everyone else is gathering up food to take back to town.
He's drinking.
Yeah, and doodling.
Yeah, drinking and doodling. That's all he does.
Pretty much. And he's like, I'm helping the most.
Yeah.
Dale begins to do what he does best, bitch about shit. He claims that Donna knew that who would draw the short straws. Although I'm going to say Dale literally just fucking stabbed somebody. So
right.
Maybe you should be volunteering for getting food. Like, maybe you should be volunteering for the mission, Dale, because you stabbed someone like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
We all just moved on from that. We let Dale out of prison. Like, I don't know. It's crazy to me that no one's talking. Like, he and Els were just like, sorry, bro. No big. Like, moving on.
Oh, God. He's insufferable.
He's rough. Man, I don't like Dale.
You know what? I am going to hang on 1 second, Jesse. Okay, sorry about that.
Dale starts bitching at Jade for drawing in his journal and not helping. He tells Jade that everyone's having a hard time, not just him, and he should stop walking around like he's so much smarter than everyone else. And Jade tells him to shut the fuck up, which is delightful. Not enough
Yes.
people saying that to Dale.
Yeah.
Jade
Agreed.
tells Dale he has no idea what he's been through or seen since he's come to town, and he takes off. And Dale's like, "Where are you going?" And Jade's like, "None of your fucking business." Like, I love Jade.
I do too.
I never thought he'd grow on me so much.
Yeah.
I'm very sarcastic in my notes sometimes. A short distance from Creep Settlement, Jade makes like Tom Hanks in literally every Tom Hanks movie and loudly relieves himself behind a tree. He brushes the snow off of a large nearby rock and sees that the top of it is painted red, and there are also two similar half red painted rocks nearby. They form a semicircle around one of the creep totem dudes. He suddenly sees a bearded man pinned to the tree in front of him by a knife through the eye. Jade approaches him very slowly, getting really close. The man appears to be dead at first, but then suddenly lunges for Jade's throat. He's like gripped him up by the coat and sweater, and Jade's struggling to get away and pull his hands off and like screaming at him to get the fuck off of him when Dale runs up from behind him and is like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And there's nobody there. Jade is struggling
he
with
saw this.
something.
Didn't he see this guy in episode 1? Or was it episode 1? Yeah. Didn't he see this guy? Oh, okay. I thought he saw somebody. Yeah. Okay. I'm probably just.
One, he's pretty much they see him in the bar in the
Yeah.
beginning, and then he's in the jail cell until the cow scene. So
Gotcha.
I don't think.
No, you know what I think it is? I think that the trailer made it look like when the milkman dude was coming towards him. In the trailer, it looked like he was seeing that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. That happens in the trailer, like back to back, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Suddenly the man just disappeared, and Jade is no longer struggling to free himself. There's nothing there, and he shouts, "Fuck this!" and he takes off. In another part of the woods near the settlement, Kenny's harvesting blueberries very frantically. He's approached by Kristy. She tells him that his bag's already pretty full, and he says he's trying to bring back as much food as possible on the first trip.
That is a shit ton of blueberries.
Yeah.
Like, we have
that food still good in the snow.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just very jealous because we have a blueberry bush and in the backyard, and it like we get hardly anything from it, and what we get are like they're like pea-sized blueberries.
Oh,
it's kind of sad, and I love blueberries.
They're the bomb. They look fantastic. I wonder if they were real.
Yeah,
I didn't look close enough.
I was jealous that they found such an awesome blueberry bush.
They're big.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I made myself sad because like they could have had blueberry pancakes.
Aww.
Anyway, Kristy tries to get Kenny to slow down and talk to her, but Kenny gets really frustrated and asks Kristy if her bags are full. She looks hurt, but he continues telling her that they need food and like they need to be working. When they are interrupted by Jade and Dale, who are arriving back at camp. Jade is screaming that he's going back to town, and Dale is telling him that he can't. Jade says he can do whatever the fuck he wants. And Kenny tells Jade he's not going to make it back to town by dark. Jade says he's not going to stay at the settlement no matter what. He wanted to help, and he was like, okay with coming and doing the food errand, but he's not down to be here. He says he doesn't like it here, and he'd be more useful at the bar. And Dale says the first and only thing in the entire series that didn't make me hate him, which says he was, who the fuck likes it anywhere? It's a forest full of nightmares. It's like, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, definitely.
Jade insists that the situation is different, and he runs off. Kristy calls after him, or stops him, and says he won't make it to town by dark. He probably won't even make it to the Talisman Hut. She asks Jade to just take a breath. Kenny reminds Jade that they have shelter and talismans here, and if they don't make it back to town with the food, the people are going to starve. Jade's just like, good luck, and he starts running. Kenny decides just to let him go. Yeah.
He's out of his mind.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. That was a pretty, like, his visions are just getting worse and, like, more intense and terrifying.
But I mean, you know, on top of, like, the fact that he is hugely jeopardizing his life by running out of there, I mean, you would think that he would also be considering what the fuck he might see on the way back.
Yeah.
You know,
like,
I would want to be with. Yeah, I mean, I would want to be with people, you know, at least, like, if I have people around me and I know that there's a talisman there, I'm safe. Like, all the creatures could be swarming the cabin, but they can't get in if there's a talisman, and I'm not by myself. You know, that's the ideal situation.
I don't know. I really don't know what his plan was. Like,
yeah.
And especially, he was running off in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
That's why Kristy starts chasing him. Because he's literally going the wrong way away from town.
Yes.
Yeah. So Kristy realizes that he's headed the wrong way, and she chases after him. Kenny calls after her as she disappears into the woods after Jade. Kristy catches up with Jade and begs him to hold on because he doesn't know where he's going. She tells him to just stop and think about what he's doing for a second, and he insists that he has no business being out here, and he would be doing everyone, more good by being back at the bar. As he's like arguing with Kristy, she suddenly steps on a freaking bear trap covered in snow.
Oh, God, that's bad. It looks
awful. Oh my God, a rusty bear trap. Like, ugh.
When I saw this in the trailer, I knew it was Kristy because I was paying attention to people's, like, to what people were wearing, and I could tell that those were her boots or whatever. And so I knew it was Kristy, and I was like, fuck, she's gonna die this season, because all I keep thinking is she's out in the woods, she's probably by herself, and she got caught in a bear trap, and she's gonna be there after dark.
Yeah.
And then the creatures are gonna get to her. So fortunately, that was not the case.
Yeah. Ugh, it looked awful.
Yeah.
Kristy screams and collapses in pain. Kenny and Dale hear her and come running as Jade immediately tries to help her. Kenny shoves Jade out of the way, knocks him off of his feet, and demands to know what he did. Kristy's like, it's not Jade's fault. Just get me the fuck out of this bear trap, please. Measure your dicks later.
Yes.
They search for a release. Jade finds
Kenny's
it.
Still pissed about Jade flirting with her.
Oh, yeah. Salty. Jade finds the bear trap release and pulls it, but it's frozen basically and immediately snaps off in his hand. Kristy is stuck, and it is 2 hours to sunset. Back at the diner, Ethan and Bacta are washing dishes. Boyd enters and greets Ethan and asks what they're doing, and Ethan says they're cleaning up the kitchen and setting it up the way Tien Chen would have wanted it.
Yeah, I know.
Boyd tells Ethan that she would have appreciated that, and Ethan goes back to the back to wash pots and pans. And Bacta tells Boyd that she came over to get a pot for Colony House and found Ethan there already cleaning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Poor kid. You know, I have to say, like, Angela Moore looked lovely in this scene, and it's just nice to, like, it's nice to see her out of her bus driver uniform.
Yeah. She looks real comfy.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, she looks absolutely lovely, and she's much nicer to look at than in her bus driver uniform.
I agree. She looks great. Bacta expresses sympathy for Ethan, and Boyd asks how she's doing. And she says she's not really sure. She's kind of having some difficulty processing everything that's happened so far, especially with the nursery rhyme her grandmother told her having something to do with everything that's going on. She asks how Boyd is, and he says it's been a rough period.
Yeah. Put it mildly.
Yeah. To say the least.
Yeah.
He says he doesn't know, but he does know that no matter what the town throws at them, they're going to win, and no matter what happens, they're going to find their way home. While he's saying this, Ethan comes out of the kitchen and overhears and says, "What if there isn't a way home?" And Boyd says, "Of course there is." And Ethan's like, "I don't know." He tells Boyd that he doesn't know that for sure. He just hopes it, and that Tin Chen thought she was going to go home, and so did his mom. Boyd says they're not giving up on Tabitha yet. And Ethan Allen Poe says, "Well, maybe you should."
Oh, God. So dark.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how. He's, what, 8 or 9?
He's like 9. No, actually, I think he's 9 or... How long?
It's only been weeks. It's been a maximum of like maybe a month from the start of the series, and I think that's being generous. It's been weeks.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, he's 9 years old.
That's like one of the issues, because he's growing up so fast, and it's been no time since the beginning. Like, Kenny's lost both his parents, and
yeah,
it's really only been a couple weeks.
Yeah, that's rough. I remember on, like, again, I'm sorry, I'm always bringing in Walking Dead references.
Don't apologize.
In between seasons 3 and 4, Chandler Riggs, like, just totally changed.
Got up, yeah.
And there was this scene in episode 1 of season 4 where he's talking to some of the other kids, and one of the kids asks him if he's coming to story time, and he's like, "No, it's for kids." And somebody did a great meme where they showed that scene, and they had Chandler Riggs with that line, but he had like a full beard.
Yeah.
No, that stuff's for kids.
That's for kids.
He had grown up so much in between seasons.
Right, he lost his baby face like overnight. It was just gone. He got so lean and like tall so fast.
Yeah, definitely.
Child actors, man. That's why you got to make them smoke cigarettes and work 14 hours a day. Sounds too gross. That's why Mickey Rooney still looks like 8 years old. That was dark.
Yeah.
Back in the woods, Kenny is struggling to pry the trap off of Kristy's leg. Dale remarks that it must have been there for decades, and the rust probably saved Kristy's foot because it wasn't able to snap closed all the way. So
it probably gave her a nasty infection.
Yeah. Oh wait, what do you get from rust? Lockjaw. That sounds like a hoot to have in the woods.
Yeah.
Kristy says, "Lucky me." Jade approaches with a long branch, and Kenny snatches it away from him and tells him to go away. He says Jade says he's just trying to help, and Kenny's like, go back to town. Just get the fuck out of here. And Jade reminds him that they need to get Kristy inside before it gets dark, and Kenny very sarcastically thanks him for the information and tells him to go the fuck home. Kristy is done. She's like, "Please stop. This is nobody's fault. Get me out of this bear trap." Dale asks if they should just break the chain so they can at least carry her inside. And Dale asks them with what? And Jade's like, "Well, you're supposed to be the smart one." Kenny tries to pry the trap open with the branch, but it immediately snaps. And Jade says they need something more stable to provide leverage. So he and Dale take off back towards the settlement, yelling for Kenny not to do anything else until they get back. Up at Colony House, Fatima and Tilly are walking into the upstairs sitting room. Elgin's asleep on the couch with his little knitting supplies in his hands.
Oh.
Tilly
I was hoping that they would go over there and straighten the blanket over him.
I know, tuck him in.
Yeah. He's just like sweet little baby Elgin to me.
Won't go there. Wow, sorry, I lost my spot. Tilly pulls out a deck of cards from the table, and Fatima asks if those are what she thinks they are. And Tilly's like, "Yes, they're tarot cards." And Fatima's like, Tilly is like, I'm serious. We want to know if the baby's okay, and the cards will tell us." And Fatima's like, "Oh, I hate you. This was a bad idea." She like starts to take off, and Fatima's like, she's mad that she opened up to Tilly, and she's like, "Your whole batty, kooky Tilly shtick is not funny right now." And Tilly's like, "How dare you? You think I'm just silly, batty, goofy Tilly goofing around?" And yeah, she's like, "Yeah, what else could this be? I don't know you."
Yeah.
And Tilly says, "If you don't believe in tarot cards, that's totally fine." But also, Fatima probably didn't believe in most of the things that she's seen every single day and night since she's been to the tree. She says that tarot played a major role in her life at a crucial time, and she wants to share that with Fatima. Fatima's still looking pretty unamused, but she sits down until he begins to shuffle the cards. She says she got the cards from a woman named Gertie who was in hospice care with her husband, and they would read the cards together. She read the cards for her after he passed. She thought it was really silly at first, but then she realizes later on that the cards predicted her cancer and also her eventual arrival in Fromville. Fatima asks if she knows how to read them, and she says she's much better at it now than she used to be. And then she lays out 4 cards in a way that no one who does tarot would ever do. and prompts Fatima to ask a question, and basically saying, insisting that the worst that could happen is that Fatima might feel silly. So Fatima leans over and she asks if her baby's okay. And Tilly reaches out for the first card, and right as she touches it, a fucking crow hits the window next to Fatima's
Terrifying.
So goddamn scary.
Oh my god. This scene just horrified me.
Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, so the crow hits the window, bam. And Fatima's like, "What was that?" And it goes away. They're like, "Okay, whatever, it's fine." Tilly reaches for the card again, and same thing, right as she's touching it, the crow hits the window again, but this time the glass shatters and it flies into the room. It's knocking shit over. It's running around. It's running into walls. It's kicking Elgin in the face. Bird's going nuts, and then it hits the wall really hard and breaks its neck and just dies. And it is fucking bananas.
Terrifying.
So scary.
And it disturbed Elgin's nap.
Yeah.
So it deserved to die.
He needs to sleep. He's had a hard time.
He has. Sorry, I just really like Elgin, okay?
He's doing his best.
I know.
Yeah, it crashes into several walls before hitting the wall next to Elgin and crumbling to the floor dead. Back in Creeptown, Jade and Dale approach the line of scare creeps. Dale insists that this is a bad idea, but Jade's like, "Fucking whatever, whoever left them here isn't here now," and he starts taking them apart. Dale's like, "Should we really be pulling apart the tower of ancient scary shit?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm throwing up one of these for that.
After what's already happened, Jade?
Yeah, I do not think that was a good idea.
No, I agree.
No, not a good idea.
Yeah, Jade snaps one of the supports off, and one of the little dudes topples over, and they run back to Kristy with
I
don't know what these are, but they got. I mean, it looks like they're just more branches, but it was strong enough to open the. Oh yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but I want to bring up the whole thing that has there's a theme that's run throughout the series of like, you know, how things are connected, and you don't want to you don't want to disrupt one thing because it could destroy everything else. Yeah, so that was a bad idea.
I agree. I agree. I do not like that place. It is very creepy.
Yeah, some bad shit went there. I mean, there are like there were shackles hanging off
Mhm.
the sides of one of the buildings. It's not.
Every time they're out there, there's something walking around. Like,
Yeah,
I don't like it. Do
not
not
good.
like it.
Yeah.
Um, Kenny's worrying about where Jade and Dale are, and Kristy's trying to get his attention, telling him to listen to her. She tells Kenny that, you know, they may have to leave her behind if they can't get her out by dark. And Kenny's like, shut up. I can't process this right now. I
Yes.
don't have it in me. And she's like, look, I'll be fine. You're going to be fine. We have plenty of daylight left. Like, please stop. And Kristy's like, no, I got to get this out. Like, no matter what happens, you can't give up. You're not going to be alone here. Like, you have to promise me that if something happens to me, you're not going to give up. And he's like, fine, whatever. I'll say whatever you want. Just stop trying to have a serious, dramatic end of times talk with me.
Yeah.
Which I get why she felt like she needed to do that, but he's just lost his mom. Like, don't do this to him.
Yeah.
Wait till you're closer. Kenny is like not ready to absorb this. And he keeps telling Kristy that she'll be fine. And she shouts at him to acknowledge what she's saying. And he finally just says, okay. Jade and Dale arrive, and they use their scavenged creep bits to pry the trap open, and Kenny's able to pull Kristy out. She's free, but she's still in a ton of pain because her ankle is dislocated, and she tells Kenny he's going to need to set it. She gives the three men instructions and positions them. As she's giving orders, Knifey shows back up in front of Jade, and he kind of loses focus on what he's doing. This time, the guy does not have the knife in his eye, but he does have a big, juicy wound where his eye used to be. And he's also cradling a human skull in his hands, which he starts like menacingly walking towards Jade, maintaining singular eye contact with him.
And drinking blood from the skull.
Slowly lifts the skull up and like uses it a cup to drink what appears to be blood. It has to be blood. It's like dribbling all down his face, all down his clothes, and he's like offers it to Jade, like, you want some?
Yum.
Yeah. Motions for Jade to drink. Jade's like, what the fuck is going on? When Kristy like shouts at him and he snaps out of it. She asks for him to focus, and together the three men manage to reset Kristy's ankle as she is screaming in pain.
You know what I was thinking about during this scene is Chloe Van Lanschot is also an ER nurse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, she was an ER nurse during the pandemic and everything. Like,
oh wow.
So I don't know if I could be wrong on this, but I think she actually does go back to nursing when she's not filming.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I know. Which would make sense because that's something that you don't really want to get out of practice with, even if you don't need to do it. I mean, what's his name? From Community. God, I'm drawing a blank. Oh my God.
Jim Rat. Oh, Ken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he was still a doctor. Like,
yeah.
Even after he had become a famous actor, he was still practicing medicine. And I couldn't help but think while watching this scene, like, she probably knew exactly how to react because she's probably been in this situation like before where, she's been involved, on the other side of it.
That's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Good for her.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Now that Kristy's okay, Jade looks back up to check on One-Eyed Willie, but he is vanished again. The men help get Kristy up, and they carry her back to the camp. On the bus, Randall is whittling what looks like one of the heads to the creatures at the scare creeps.
Yeah, that's what I thought
He's not seen yet, right? Yeah.
Right.
That's what it looked like to me. It was
Yeah, I was
weird.
so confused. That's what it looked like to me too.
Mm-hmm. He sees a cicada on the window outside the bus. At first, there's just one, but then he's very quickly swarmed by them and reacts in panic and like freaking out, trying to slap him off his body. Um, when Boyd walks on the bus, just as Boyd shows up, they disappear. Boyd sees Randall freaking out, and he's like, "What's going on?" And Randall is like mystified, and he's like, "Nothing, I'm good."
Yeah.
um, Boyd is like approaching him like he's like a scared horse. um, Boyd asks to be sure he's okay after the incident with the animals, and Randall asks Boyd what he wants and why he's there. And he tells Randall he wants to trade accommodations for the evening. Randall's like, why? And he says that he wants a chance to watch the monsters when they come out for the woods. And he's like, why do you want to do that? And Boyd says, I just think we need to change pace. And that's the end of that scene.
I need to know like what the hell's going on with these cicadas.
Yeah, he's the only one seeing him too. Like Marielle and Julie aren't seeing him.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, they came from Smiley.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they originated.
Do you think that, I mean, no, I was going to say, do you think he's actually seeing them or if it's just like a PTSD reaction? But they're there. Like he sees them. I think they're real for him.
Yeah.
But like nobody else can see them.
Yeah, I mean, they could just be a vision that he's having. Yeah, just like a PTSD vision, kind of vision, you know? So yeah, I guess that makes sense.
It's that they're definitely there for him. Like,
yeah,
it's not in his head. I mean, I don't know how to say it. Even though he's the only one who can see them, I don't think it's in his head. I think it's something the town's deliberately doing to him. I don't think it's like a trauma response is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Back in Henry's car, Tabitha looks uncomfortable and Henry asks if she's doing all right. She says she's a little car sick and asks if it's much further. He said it's right down the road, just a couple of streets away, and tells her there might be some crackers in the glove box. Tabitha opens the glove box to pull out the crackers when she finds the bracelet, the same exact bracelet she made for Jim out of his father's shoelaces. The same bracelet she found at the diner in Fromville. This freaks her the fuck out. She asks where Henry got this, and he says that Miranda made it for him. And he can see that she's like troubled, and he asks her what's wrong, and she starts to panic. And she calls herself stupid, and she's like, this isn't real. She's recounts the impossibility of everything that's happened to her, and she's like, this was your mistake. I made this bracelet for my husband, and he lost it, and then I found it in the diner in the town, and she starts crying. She asks Henry if they're really in Maine, or if this is just more of the town torturing her. And Henry is like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, he is seemingly clueless.
Yeah. This is just more validation for me for my reincarnation theory.
Oh yeah. I really think there's something to it.
Yeah.
Tabitha starts screaming for him to pull over. He's like, all right. He stops the car and she's like, what happens if I get out of the car? What if I refuse to play this game? Do I start all over? Do I go back to the hospital? Like, what happens? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. The bottle tree is like around the corner. Let's just go. And she's like, no. I'm getting out. And Henry just loses his shit. And he's like, you can't do this. And he reaches across her, pulls the door closed, and simultaneously slams on the gas, driving straight into an oncoming car. Like, boom, boom, boom.
Pulling a Lori Grimes.
Yeah. To call the ambulance, but not for me.
Oh my God.
But also for me.
Bad driving, Henry. Yeah. Bad driving.
It's happened so fast, it was a little comical. Like, he was like,
yeah.
Scrooge man. Like,
yeah. Yeah. That was that was Toby level driving for sure.
Yeah. Uh, um, in an ambulance, a medic is taking Henry's blood pressure as he's strapped to a gurney. Tabitha wakes up and a female police officer is telling her not to get up. She's okay. There's an EMT who tells her she's in a car accident. The cop identifies her as the lady with the lunchbox from the hospital. She sees the condition Henry's in and she's devastated and asks if he's okay. The EMT says he's going to be all right, and the cop mentions that they've had patrols out looking for her since she went missing from the hospital. Tabitha says she doesn't want to go back to the hospital, but the cop and the EMT tell her to be quiet and that she needs to have her injuries checked out, when suddenly the ambulance stops. The cop knocks on the divider and asks the driver if everything's all right, and he says there's a tree in the middle of the road.
Oh.
Tabitha's like, fuck. She starts going, no.
So good.
She immediately realizes what's happening, and both the cop and the EMT kind of roll their eyes at her and look annoyed, and they hop out of the ambulance to reveal the tree that traps you in Fromville.
So good.
End of the episode, and it is fucking amazing.
Yes. Oh my God. This show is just, oh, it's so good.
Yeah. I did not. And then it wasn't, yeah, I did not see that coming. It was nuts.
Yeah. I really didn't see it either. I didn't know if Tabitha was even ever going to reunite with her family again. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't expect her to get back into Fromville in episode 3.
Yeah, I thought it would take her to the end of the season at least.
Yeah. Oh my God. And now Victor's father,
his dad, yeah,
is there.
Got Frommed, their whole damn family.
Oh my God.
They love families.
Yeah, they do. They really like the Kavanaugh family, especially. Mm-hmm. Oh God, so good. So good. I do think it was
chills. Like Catalina's her going, no, when she realizes what's happening, like, oh,
yeah.
Great episode.
I do think I did think it's interesting that a car accident is what got her
there again. Yeah. I also think it just proves everyone's theory that they're already dead. Like, there's so many people who are like, they're dead and they have to die to wake up in the real world. Like, no, Tabitha's not dead. She's been alive the whole time. Like,
yeah. But, it's also interesting that, like, they got into a car accident because Henry was driving erratically because he was, trying to grab the door. And, I jokingly said it was Toby level driving, but I mean, Toby was driving completely erratically when they got there. And my theory is that, things are changing in the town now. It's winter. Like, it's never changed seasons. The trees are moving. There's no more peaches. All of these things are changing. And my theory is that things are changing because the town was waiting for Tabitha and Jade to both get there again, to both be in the town at the same time.
I like that.
Yeah. And because I think all of the answers, well, most of them at least, kind of revolve around them. And because I think they're Miranda and Christopher. And it's interesting that we don't know, we never really got a backstory on Victor and his mom and sister getting into Fromville. We can just assume that she was either dropping them off at school or picking them up because Victor had his lunchbox.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting if, wait, no. That's not right, because Victor talked about the first car accident. He was already in town. So where I was going to go with that is not correct, because Victor was already in town when that one car accident happened.
Well, the 2 cars before.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know. I might be making this up, but the second car accident or the first car accident, what brought Christopher to town? Was he in that accident, or am I making that up?
Wait, was who in the accident?
Christopher. Did he come?
Oh,
Did he show up in the crash with the first two cars?
I don't know, but that would be very interesting. I would
feel
not
like
be surprised.
I remember that, but I might just I don't know. I feel like I might just be pulling that out of nothing. I just might be making that up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was hoping, like, until I realized that Victor was already there in Fromville, I was kind of hoping that Christopher and Miranda's cars collided. Just like, Tabitha and Jade's vehicles collided.
That would be nice. Symmetry.
Yeah. But I don't know. But God, this was such a great ending. I think so far they've had a crazy cliffhanger every episode in the season.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. There hasn't been one episode where I was like, well, that was chill.
Yeah. Oh my God. So good. So good. And I can't wait for people to see.
The next episode's even better. The whole season just keeps ramping up intensity and speed.
Yes. Yeah, it's amazing. Oh my God, like I keep remembering things that happened in episode 4 and I'm like, oh God, that happens too, and that happens. I'm like, and episode 4 has a great cliffhanger too. Which didn't happen which didn't turn into the storyline that I thought it was going to turn into. But that's a whole different thing.
That's for next week.
Yeah. So who's getting the pancakes for you this week and who's going in the box?
Dale's going in the box for being classic Dale. Is there any other kind? He's just so. I mean, he does help get Kristy out of the trap, but he barely helps. He's the worst. And also, he should be volunteering to go get food.
Yeah,
he should be like trying to kiss everybody's ass because he just fucking stabbed someone.
Right?
It has not even been a week since he stabbed Ellis. I'm just saying.
He should be. He should still be locked up in a room somewhere.
Yeah, like why is he just out with the pop and Gen Pop? Like not okay.
I don't know, man.
Pancakes. That's a tougher one this week. Donna, because I feel like even though she didn't really do a whole lot in this episode, they probably would have gone off half-cocked into the woods if she hadn't been like, what are you talking about? Yeah. How are you going to achieve this? That makes no sense. Yeah. I think I don't know if maybe they would have ended up going through with it, but what we really wanted to, and she may have saved their lives if that's the case. Like, not a good plan.
Yeah, definitely. I am. God, I hate this so much. I never thought it would come to this. I'm putting my boy in the box.
What?
I'm sorry, Boyd.
I can't believe it.
I mean, this is like me putting Carol Pelletier in the box, okay?
I get it. I mean, if it's going to be any episode, it's this one.
Yeah. He has gym brain.
Yeah. Like, it's not a good plan.
He's just stupid in this episode. And I still and yet I still felt a lot of sympathy for him because he hates himself so much and he has no reason to.
He's been through so much trauma.
I know.
It's crazy how I keep thinking about that. Like, it's maybe been 3 weeks to 4 weeks since the Matthews family arrived. And like they have been through so fucking much already. Like, wow,
Oh my
what a
God.
show!
Um,
Who's your pancakes?
this one's tough because
Yeah,
I'm honestly, I have 3 people that I'm trying to decide between. One of them is, surprisingly enough, is Tilly.
yeah.
Um,
That's a good call.
and
She's trying out.
the other 2 are Jade and Kristy.
I also
Um,
think Bacta should get some
yeah.
consideration for, or she gave Boyd a little, little pep talk, little cheering up Ethan a little.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I'm glad that she's actually that we're getting to know her a little bit more and she's
Mm-hmm.
likable because I don't think anybody liked her at first.
Yeah,
She was
she was a
quite
tough sell at
irritating.
the beginning. Yeah,
Yeah. But
um, it's a weird episode where we didn't spend a lot of time with any character. Like
yeah.
there, all the scenes, like the longest scenes were the Kristy, Kenny, Jade, and Dale scenes, and like everything else were just there. I don't know. It was a full length episode, but all the scenes were really short, and like we didn't spend a lot of time with any one group this week. It bounced around a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I liked Tilly. I thought it was really, really sweet how she tried to make Fatima feel better about
Mm-hmm.
everything. Um, with Jade and Kristy, I wanna give it to Chris I wanna give Kristy pancakes for running after Jade,
Mm-hmm.
um, because he would probably be dead if she
Yeah,
hadn't. Like, her getting caught in that bear trap saved him.
yeah, I
Um,
did.
but, I also, so I also kinda wanna put Jade in the box too for that. Jade's in the box eating pancakes. Jade's sitting in the box. I'm putting Jade and Boyd in a box together with a talisman, and and, yeah, and Boyd can nibble a little bit off of Jade's pancakes because Jade was an even bigger dumbass, honestly,
It's true.
but
Why
he
did he
was
even
also
go?
I
Like,
don't know,
if
but
you're
he
gonna
was
like,
also really helpful.
yeah,
So he gets, he gets the main portion of box pancakes. Well, Boyd just has to, Boyd has to eat his leftovers. um, and yeah, and Kristy can just sit in the box or sit outside the box and eat her nice full stack of pancakes. Well, and share a little bit with Tilly.
oh, it's
Because
full
yeah,
coverage.
yeah, like Kristy getting caught in the bear trap, uh, you know, that happened because Jade was a fucking dumbass,
Yeah.
but it saved his life. And they need Jade.
Mhm.
They cannot Jade cannot die.
Yeah.
And Jade got Kristy out of the bear trap, which was good because that was appropriate. Um, since he's kind of the reason that she got caught in it. So, yeah, Jade and Boyd are in the box, and Kristy and Tilly are eating pancakes.
Wild.
And yeah, and the dead crow is getting put in the box too.
Yeah. Fuck that crow.
Fuck that crow.
What a dick.
God, that was so
Crow
terrifying
works
though.
for the DJ.
Man, this show is just so great at creating moments like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
the crow is so terrifying. And like last week when Celebration came on the jukebox, it was just so incredibly jarring. I feel like another show would have a really hard time getting making those scenes so impactful.
Mm-hmm.
But they do it so well.
Yeah. The Thomas call was really
Yeah.
nuts. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this
I love
show's just a friggin' masterpiece. It really
it.
is.
It absolutely is.
And I'm so glad because I remember I think I told you a while back that I tried watching it a long time ago,
Hmm.
and I had a lot going on at the time, and so it was just hard. I was distracted, and so I just, like, didn't get into it. I
Hmm.
wasn't really, like, focusing enough on it. Um,
Yeah.
and the reason I didn't go back to it is because I saw so many mixed reactions. It was like people were either, "This show is fucking amazing," or people are like, "This show is so bad." Um,
I've
I
seen people say that.
What's
I
that?
see a lot of people complain about, I'm not going to say names because I do not agree with any of the statements, but I've seen a lot of people complain about certain people's acting.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I don't see what you're saying. I think everyone's
same,
amazing on this show. Like,
same. And one person who gets criticized for their acting a lot in particular, it's honestly just racism and
racism. Yeah.
xenophobia. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. I know you know who I'm talking about. And I don't want
Yeah.
to say it because it makes me furious and they're a fantastic actor.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, and that's all it is. It infuriates me, and that's why I don't go on Reddit because that's where I see it most of the time, and I'm just like, "Oh my god." And I've spoken about it too. I'm like, "This is fucking ridiculous that you guys are saying this."
Yeah.
And there was pushback on that at like, "Get over it. Their acting sucks." I'm
You suck. How about that?
just go watch
Some
some
of
show
our
with a
people have been nominated for Academy Awards and they still say that their acting sucks. Like, get real. Get a life.
yeah. Yeah, I know. One thing that I do wanna comment on, and I'm kinda nervous about commenting on it because I don't want it to sound like I'm disparaging her acting at all, but, because I think she's fine, but, like, I think since they put Avery Conrad with Scott McCord
Hmm.
in a lot of scenes, I feel like he has improved her acting so much.
They're fantastic scene partners.
They really are.
They're great together.
Yeah. I mean, their chemistry is off the
Hmm.
charts. I really hope that they
It's
continue.
definitely it's definitely the most likable. It's the most I've been able to enjoy. I don't not finding any fault in her acting. It's just the way the character's been presented up until
Yeah.
this point. This is the most I've been able to enjoy her performance because
Yeah.
she's not acting against everyone anymore. She's not constantly trying to get herself killed so she can feel better about herself.
Yeah.
She's just, chilling,
Yeah.
and I enjoy getting to enjoy her now.
That's a big part of it too. And
Yeah.
and she also is kind of she also kind of helps Victor out a lot
Hmm.
this season with pep talks and stuff like that, and yeah,
Yeah.
I absolutely love them together, and I hope
Yeah.
they keep.
I was not expecting that pairing, and it's a great pairing.
I know. I like that, when I like that when a show puts 2 characters together that don't usually share a lot of screen time, and then you just find out that they're so incredible together.
Hmm.
It's such a nice surprise because who would have thunk it, you know?
Absolutely.
Um, but, yeah, I guess that's it. Oh, no, 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 no. So if you haven't checked out our last recap, episode 2, please do so because part 2 of our interview with Elizabeth Moy is in there. And also, if you leave a comment on that episode, you will qualify for an entry into our giveaway. We are giving away a cameo with David Alpay, Jade, at the end of the season. And basically in order to enter, you have to be present at the finale after show. But each time that you show up to one of our lives or comment on one of our recap episodes, you get another entry. So please leave a comment, and also share our content if
Please.
you wouldn't mind. It would really help us out. We are also still in desperate need of a social media manager. It's like, for certain safety reasons that don't affect the show itself, just me personally. um, we can't really do much on social media right now. So we really need a lot of help. Even if you're not interested in being a social media person for us, if you want to just like help out occasionally, like if you just want to tell us, hey, I'll be happy to share your links, just let me know, and I'll help you out however I can. Just please like get in touch with us. Send us a message on social media, or just email us at it's our email address is still antlerqueenspodcast at gmail.com. I was waiting to have the website up before I could change that, but honestly, like, we've been struggling so much that we're just holding off on having a website right now. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and change the email address soon to Cyborg Queen Media. But for now, you can reach us at antlerqueenspodcast at gmail.com. Also, is there anything else? Yeah, I don't think so.
That's everything.
But yeah, so when a cameo with David Alpay,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be extremely jealous of you. My husband's like, you can't draw your own name, right?
I commented. I run the show.
Like, damn it. Oh, but Banana's eligible, right? So if Banana wins,
Yes,
then
exactly.
No, okay.
It's just fair.
All right, everybody. See you next week.
Have a good one.
Bye.